A determined, progressive woman attempts to embarrass Elon Musk, unaware of his mathematical brilliance. The morning sunlight reflected off the sleek glass exterior of the Vancouver Convention Center as Sarah Chen rehearsed her strategy for the 20th time. Her fingers brushed the frayed edges of her tablet, where months of research had been distilled into a collection of damning statistics. The TED Conference's Future of Technology session wouldn't start for another 3 hours, but Sarah had already secured her vantage point in the lobby, observing attendees as they arrived. Marcus Chen, a young intern from her tech watchdog group Tech Truth, approached with a cup of coffee. Triple espresso, as requested. "Thanks, Marcus," Sarah replied, barely glancing up from her tablet. "Any sign of him?" "Not yet, but his team is here. I saw Zara Ellis, his new PR head, doing a walkthrough with security." Sarah's lips curled into a faint smile. Zara Ellis was Sharpone of Silicon Valley's top crisis managers, but even she wouldn't be able to salvage what was coming. "Keep an eye on the back entrance. He likes to avoid crowds before big speeches." As Marcus hurried off, Sarah adjusted her wire-rimmed glasses and opened her email. The last message from her anonymous Tesla insider still sent a thrill through her. "Safety numbers are manipulated. Full dataset attached. Be careful who you trust." The attached files had been the final piece of the puzzle. After 3 months of verification, she was ready. Today wasn't just about exposing misleading statistics, it was about revealing the cracks in the tech world's golden idol. "Sarah Chen? Is that really you?" She looked up to find Dr. James Morrison, her former statistics professor from Stanford, smiling at her. His bow tie was as crooked as she remembered. "Dr. Morrison, I didn't know you were speaking at TED." "Oh, I'm not. Just here to learn," he said, gesturing to the seat beside her. "Mind if I join you? It's been 8 years?" "7, Sarah corrected, sliding over to make room, "since I defended my dissertation." "Ah, yes. Statistical analysis of autonomous vehicle safety metrics. Quite prophetic, given your current work." He studied her face. "I've been following your publications at Tech Truth. You're making quite a name for yourself." Sarah felt a flicker of pride. Morrison had been her harshest critic during grad school, but his rigor had shaped her into the analyst she was today. "Actually, I'm about to release something big today," she said, lowering her voice. "What do you think about Musk's claims about autopilot safety? The numbers he's been throwing around?" Morrison stroked his chin thoughtfully. "Well, statistics can be tricky in real-world applications. There are so many variables to consider." "Dr. Morrison," Sarah interrupted, "we both know that's academic speak. I'm asking what you really think." The professor chuckled. "Still as direct as ever, I see." He glanced around before continuing. "Off the record, I've had concerns about their methodology. But proving anything would require access to their raw data, which they guard like Fort Knox." Sarah's grip tightened on her tablet. "What if someone had that data?" Morrison's eyes widened. "Sarah, what exactly are you planning?" Before she could answer, her phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. "Black Model S just pulled up at the back entrance." "I'm sorry, Dr. Morrison, but I need to go," Sarah said, gathering her things. "Watch the Q&A session. You might find it enlightening." As she walked away, Morrison called after her. "Sarah, be careful. Statistics aren't always as black and white as they seem." The next 2 hours passed in a blur. Sarah watched from the shadows as the main hall filled with tech elites, venture capitalists, startup founders, and journalists, all eager to hear Musk's latest vision for Mars colonization. Her team was scattered throughout the audience, ready to document everything. "Livestream is ready," Marcus whispered through her earpiece. "We're already at 50,000 viewers waiting for the Q&A." Sarah checked her reflection in her phone. Her dark blazer was perfect, professional, authoritative, with just a hint of intimidation. Her mother had always said clothes were armor, and today she was dressed for battle. The lights dimmed, and the crowd fell silent as the TED curator took the stage. "Our next speaker needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyway." Light laughter rippled through the audience. Sarah used the moment to scan the crowd. In the third row center, she spotted Zara Ellis, looking flawless in Chanel. Several Tesla board members occupied the front row, alongside potential investors. "Perfect. Please welcome Elon Musk." The applause was deafening. Sarah watched as he strode onto the stage, projecting his trademark mix of awkwardness and confidence. He wore a simple black t-shirt and Blazer the billionaire's uniform. "Thanks, everyone," he began, his voice carrying a faint South African accent. "Before we talk about Mars, I want to share some exciting updates about our progress here on Earth." Sarah half listened as he launched into his presentation, her mind rehearsing her planned attack. Her fingers traced the edge of her tablet, where each damning spreadsheet was organized for maximum impact. 20 minutes, she thought. 20 minutes until the Q&A. The presentation unfolded as expected grand visions of sustainable energy, electric vehicles transforming transportation, and humanity becoming a multiplanetary species. The audience ate it up, gasping and applauding at all the right moments. "Now," Musk said, "I know we're running long, but I'd like to take some questions." Sarah's hand shot up immediately, but she forced herself to wait as he called on others first. A startup founder asked about Tesla's AI training methods. A climate scientist inquired about solar panel efficiency. Each question was soft, predictable. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, she saw him gesture in her direction. A TED staff member hurried over with a microphone. This was it. Months of investigation, countless sleepless nights verifying data, all leading to this moment. Sarah stood, her heart pounding but her voice steady. "Mr. Musk?" she began, letting a hint of condescension color her tone. "I've been following your recent claims about Tesla's autopilot safety statistics with great interest." She saw him tilt his head slightly, studying her. In her peripheral vision, she noticed Zara Ellis sitting up straighter. "Your latest quarterly report states that Tesla vehicles in autopilot mode are 5 times less likely to be involved in accidents compared to human drivers. That's an impressive claim." "Yes," Musk replied. "The data has been very encouraging." "The data?" Sarah cut in, her voice sharp enough to make several audience members jump. "Or should I say, your creative interpretation of it?" A low murmur rippled through the crowd. Sarah could see Zara Ellis already typing frantically on her phone. "I've spent months analyzing your safety statistics," Sarah continued, her voice gaining strength, "and they don't add up. Would you care to explain how you arrived at those figures? Or should we assume you're just making things up?" The room fell silent. 2,000 faces turned to Musk, waiting for his response. Sarah felt a rush of satisfaction as she saw him pause, reaching for his water bottle. She had him. But then, something unexpected happened. Instead of becoming defensive or dismissive, Musk walked calmly to the whiteboard that had been used earlier in his presentation. "Actually," he said, picking up a marker, "I'd love to explain the math. It's a fascinating statistical problem." Sarah felt the first twinge of uncertainty as he uncapped the marker. This wasn't the reaction she'd anticipated. Where was the bluster? The deflection? "But before we dive in," he added, turning to face her directly, "I don't believe we've been properly introduced, Miss." "Chen," she replied, her voice firm. "Sarah Chen from Tech Truth." "Ah," he nodded, a flicker of recognition crossing his face. "I thought I recognized your name from some of your organization's papers. Your critique of social media algorithm bias was quite insightful." Sarah felt off balance. This wasn't the temperamental billionaire she'd prepared to confront. The man facing her was calm, almost eager to engage. "Shall we examine those statistics together?" he asked, marker poised against the whiteboard. And in that moment, as 2,000 people waited in anticipation, Sarah realized her carefully planned ambush had just become something else entirely. The hunter was about to become the hunted, but she didn't know it yet.